Hi folks, Neil here at AppleiPodParts.com, hoping to cure a few misconceptions and clear up some issues on the headphone jacks you've got here for the iPod Classic and the iPod Video. There's huge complications that Apple have caused between these parts, and obviously we get mix-ups every day with people getting the wrong bit. It's complicated, bear with me. So these are the headphone jacks, and these are for the iPod Classic, iPod Video. The common problem on these is the audio goes in one ear and you have to wiggle it and it starts working again or stops working, and replacing those is a relatively straightforward job, but getting the right part is not. So here we go. Right, start with from the beginning. You have the iPod Video, which is a black, this is the Classic. The 5th gen Video is the plastic fronted white and black iPod, and you know, this is the 6th gen Classic, which was the version after the Video, and these came with the black and the silver metal fronted. When you've got the two, you can say definite this is like anodized metal, the others are plastic. So the 5th gen's plastic, 6th gen is metal, and they also made a 7th gen Classic, which is exactly the same as this, the metal front, but they made them thinner. Now the whole issue with these is that they made various different thicknesses in the cases, and this is what leads to complication when getting these parts. You can get black versions, white versions, they both work the same, but the iPod Video 30 gig that they made is a thin rear, and the 60 and 80 gig iPod Video had a big fat rear to accommodate the spinning hard drive because it was thicker. When they went to the Classics, being the later model, they made the hard drives thinner. So I think the lowest they made was a 60 or 80 gig on those. They had the thinner case, so that this is where it gets complicated. But on the Classics, the 6th gen Classic, the 160 gig versions had a fat rear case because the 160 gig hard drive was bigger. And then when they made the 7th gen of these, I believe they were all thin cased. Right, obviously you can try and suss out which version you've got, but essentially if you need a headphone jack, you just need the part. The way you tell is by looking at the thickness of the rear casing, and obviously you can measure it, but it's not the easiest. It's difference in 3 or 2.5 millimeters, so it's not the easiest to measure. And if you take into account the front, then it all adds up all to mix up. So if you look at yours, and you see here the headphone jack hole, it actually curves with the rear as part of the hole. So you see the plastic, it curves. Whereas this is the thinnest casing, whether it be Video, Classic, or 6th or 7th gen Classic. Yeah, if it curves, you want the smaller of the headphone jacks. Now I'll show you the headphone jack. Right, see these two here? This is the smaller of the two, and if you see, if I can get a focus on it close up, you'll see that the headphone jack curves. Whereas the thicker one, because the rear casing is thicker here, the difference is here, it's got more metal here, that doesn't curve, it's flush, it's flat, and then the rear casing continues and then curves. So the headphone jack is actually completely flat. And you see there, versus this one, which actually has a curve in it. There you go, see those two there. Hard to tell, easier if you strip yours and find out. But in essence, and obviously see that block there, that sits in the rear casing. They sit like that. See, that's never going to fit. And there's the headphone jack. See, there you go. That sticks out. That block does. Whereas this one sits in there, curves with a headphone jack, and sits nicely in there. So essentially, you need to work out which one you've got. Look at the rear casing. Look where the headphone jack is, and see if the actual plastic, the white at the back plastic here, curves with the rear, or whether it's flat. The rear carries on and then curves. That is to whether you need the thinner version headphone jack or the thicker. Now you can find these on our site, iPod Video and iPod Classic, white or black. Okay, it doesn't matter. What really matters is what you're getting, the thinner curved version or the flat version. And our listings, that's pretty much what it will say. We'll adjust the listings on the site to suit, to let you know that this is the thinner version, the sloped rear, and the fatter version, the flat headphone jack. But it's complicated, but that should help you clear up what you have, and then it should enable you to order the part that you need from our site without getting sort of any mix-ups. But obviously we're here to help, so you can give us a bell on our website, AppleiPodParts.com. You can get all the parts. If you need help, technical help, you've got to contact us, big red bar down the left hand side of the screen, or you've got a contact phone number there, local rate UK, and we'll be more than happy to help. I'm Neil at AppleiPodParts.com. Thank you for watching.